Hi everybody, welcome back to Sketch to See. This is episode 2 of our construction update series. If you haven't already gone back and watched episode 1, this episode won't make much sense to you. So please stop this now, go back, do that. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, share. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below in the comments section. I will get back to you, I promise. And if you want to talk in more detail, please reach out to me at sketchtosee@gmail.com. Now that I've got that quick PSA out of the way, please follow along on our other social media platforms, being Instagram and Facebook. Welcome back. And as far as timing goes, I believe the last episode I left off in approximately June of 2019, where we had thought we solved a whole bunch of problems with our interior now that our final 3D hull model was relatively finished. Wow, we were wrong. As I noted in the previous episode, in April of 2019, we spent about a week in California at the Naval Architect's office, going through this design process extensively. They had come far enough along in our 3D model that we were able to start placing all the items from our spec list into the interior confines of the vessel. This now meant that we had time to concentrate on workflows, bottlenecks, passages, making sure we had enough space for everything, and to make sure that people could adequately and comfortably move about the yacht. Another big part of this trip to California is where we were trying to identify ceiling heights on the interior, exterior toe kick heights, and a couple of other basic functional things to do with our vessel. You may ask yourself why a toe kick on the exterior has anything to do with the ceiling height on the interior. Well, it's quite simple. I'm 6 feet tall and my wife is 5'3" on a good day. At least that's what she tells me. The main issue surrounding that toe kick is we had to make sure that when she was seated at the dining room table in the main salon, that her eyes, looking 15 degrees up and 15 degrees down, seated at that table, could actually focus on the horizon. If she was seated at the table and not able to focus on the horizon, it would promote seasickness. And I think the interior heights ranging from 5'2", where we actually ended up settling on her height, all the way up to about 6'4", made it quite a comfortable range for the most amount of people that will be using our vessel. As well as having an effect on seasickness, these heights have drastic effects on the entire look of your vessel. Whether you're choosing to adjust the height of your wing deck to get your interior ceiling heights and the clearance required by eyesight on the toe kick, or are you simply raising the interior ceiling and then the next interior ceiling, and drastically the yacht is getting higher and higher out of water. All of these different aspects have different effects on the look and the function of your yacht. Here are a couple of examples. So all of this actually relates back to your design brief, but that's a whole nother episode. To keep it simple, more windage means the vessel needs more power. Therefore, its performance aspects are severely reduced. The end goal for us was to keep our vessel as sleek as possible. So we managed to find the happy medium between the interior heights, the clearance of the wing deck, and those exterior toe kicks. But I digress. Let's get back to some of the more functional requirements that we had in our vessel that we were not achieving. Our port midship guest room is a splitting queen. It was going to require a custom mattress, which it shouldn't have, and the split was only going to be a couple of inches, so why even bother doing it in the first place? And on top of that, the shower was really, really small and not, in my opinion, fitting of a yacht of this caliber. And in the starboard midship stateroom, which is a bunk room or a working room, we were having very similar issues. This one was a little bit more with ceiling heights to have two beds stacked on top of each other, how much headroom was required on each. We actually came up with quite a clever solution, in my opinion, about that one. But the shower was also having the same problem. It was effectively going to need to be a wet head, and that is actually against our design brief. We wanted absolutely no showers and toilets within the same confines. But those weren't even the biggest issues. The biggest issues that we were having were in the main salon and the galley. The biggest issue we were having in the main salon was access and service. Just imagine, the boat is fully loaded with 14 people at capacity. You have the crew quarters down in the right-hand side, the galley's down there, the access to the bar there, the access to the master stateroom is there, and there's only 3.5 feet in between the corner of the bar and the edge of the dining room table on the interior. How do you think service staff would be able to carry plates and serve anybody at that table, let alone have somebody in the bar making a drink and perhaps somebody coming out of the VIP or the master stateroom at the same time? It was just not functional for us. This was going to be a traffic nightmare. So the other issues that we had in the galley, we were really running out of space. And I'm very specific about my fridge and freezer space. Originally, we had specified 36-inch wide freezer column and fridge column, plus additional drawer convertible units to accommodate 14 people being at sea for an extended amount of time. So once we got through all of the hull analysis and the structural confines and located all the bulkheads and the dagger board compartments and everything like that, our galley was just left a mess. There was no possible functional layout to it. And if you do follow along on our Instagram page, you can see some of the different iterations in the post that I did where I actually cut out all these units on graph paper and tried to place them within the galley, given the fixed elements of the bulkheads, the dagger boards, and the access companionway. It was just not going to work. We had to do something else. These were very important items for us. So what are our options? I narrowed it down to 3 possibilities. One of the options was to remove the starboard midship stateroom. This was simply not an option for us for several reasons. First of all, we plan on traveling with lots of family and friends. The second main reason was loss of revenue due to loss of accommodation space while on charter. One of the cabins that we were considering removing, I actually called a working cabin. Let me tell you why. Every charter that I've been on, if it has been a bareboat charter and we did want some sort of service member, whether that be a dive master or a massage therapist, for example, we would have to give up one of the main staterooms. With this cabin that I've identified here, we wouldn't have to actually give up that stateroom and we can accommodate 2 service staff comfortably, with the only item that they would actually have to share would be a bathroom. Option number 2 was simply to downsize the refrigeration and the freezer capacities. Just think about this. 14 people on board, 3 meals a day for 2 weeks, that's 588 meals. And this is the bare minimum that somebody's going to expect while on charter. And that doesn't even begin to consider what happens if one of the units breaks, which boats are boats, it happens all the time. Option number 3, build a bigger boat. So what do you think we did? Well, here I am introducing HH8801. It was designed by the same naval architects, Morelli and Melvin, that did our 77-foot model. So no, I'm not joking. But most people think, and this is typically true, that every 10 feet you go up in length, you go up exponentially in price. Also, your interior volume increases exponentially. Understanding that, ours simply did not go up exponentially. We accomplished this through very careful consideration and some of the absolute necessities that we needed within our vessel. As it turns out, we had crammed so much into our 77-foot vessel that it would actually weigh approximately the same as an 88-foot vessel. Please note, we're not changing any of our specification or internal equipments or anything like that. We're not adding extra items. We are simply extending the hulls and the wing deck only a couple of feet. So once we had the 3D hull lines with the extra 11 feet added, it was time to go to the VPP models. VPP is Velocity Prediction Program. We ran the 77-foot model with dagger boards through this, a 77-foot with mini keels, an 88-foot with dagger boards, and an 88-foot with mini keels. What do you think the results were? I was a little surprised. The best part of this result was there was a cost-effective way to do it, and then there was an expensive way to do it. The cost-effective way was go to the 88 feet length and remove the dagger boards. The 2 vessels, the 77 with dagger boards and the 88 with mini keels effectively sailed and performed identically. This was how we were able to extend our yacht to 88 feet without the significant increase in expense. We simply removed the dagger boards because we still were able to maintain a 20 knot plus performance. We can still sail pretty well upwind as well, and we have less moving parts. This just suited us all around. All of our cabins now were spacious and comfortable. There were no wet heads anymore. The dagger board compartment in the galley was now gone, and it was also gone in the starboard midship cabin. Removing it in the galley meant we could accommodate all the refrigeration space that we had planned for initially, and we had a very effective galley layout. That traffic nightmare I referred to earlier, completely gone. That wasn't the only change that we made when we upgraded to the 88 feet. Here's another couple. Once we went up to 88 feet, we did one more thing to remove that traffic nightmare I referred to earlier. We mirrored the master cabin on the main level. This took the entry door from the starboard side to the port side, so it was no longer impeding access to both the galley and the bar. I just want to put the size of our vessel into perspective. The playing area of a doubles tennis court is 78 feet long and 36 feet wide. That's essentially the size of our 77. So as I noted earlier, our beam did not actually change. We just extended the hulls and a little bit on the wing deck. So we are basically 10 feet longer than a doubles playing tennis court. Curious to know how we managed this extension with the hull molds already well underway? Well, you'll just have to stay tuned to construction update number 3. In that episode, I go through in detail how we accomplished this extension, plus some of the other added benefits that I noted above. If you haven't checked out some of the other episodes, I'd really appreciate it if you went out and did that now. There's a couple different series to this channel. There's the construction updates, which you're watching now, there's the interview series, and then there's the regular series, which documents our journey from start to finish, how we got into this process, the research, the development, and then obviously now the construction. So as always, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share. Follow us along on social media. A little click from you goes a long way for us. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me either in the comment section below, or you can message me directly at sketchtosee@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon.